Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for your friendly coming. I'm very excited to have all of you to attend this webinar, of which the theme is Guidance of Healthy Food Registration in China. Here, I'd be delighted to introduce myself in brief. My name is Cassie Yu, and now is responsible for the food safety and regulatory affairs in CIRS. This webinar is supposed to last about 40 minutes and to be separated into 6 parts. We are going to follow this content. First, I will introduce healthy food in China. I will let you know what is healthy food in China. And we will have overview of China healthy food registration regulations. Then we will go to have a look at the process of healthy food registration and also the dossier requirements of healthy food registration and also the testing requirements of healthy food registration. Finally, we will have a look at the estimated registration duration and cost. Okay, let's see the healthy food definition. Actually, in China, healthy food has a specific health function or supply of vitamins and or minerals. Healthy food is suitable for specific groups of people. Healthy food also regulates body's function but cannot treat disease. So please note that healthy food cannot treat disease. It means that you cannot claim any functions regarding the treating disease. It is not allowed. Healthy food has no acute, subacute, or chronic health effect to human body. So it is very different from the medicine. Sometimes I think people will think it is very difficult to check if it is healthy food from the general food or drug, because sometimes the raw materials may be the same for general food or drug or healthy food. To compare with the drug, healthy food cannot prevent or treat disease. Healthy food has non-toxic. Healthy food is only for oral use. And healthy food can only use food or healthy food raw materials as the ingredients. It means that healthy food cannot use poisonous or harmful substance. To compare with the general food, healthy food has health function claim. Healthy food can use healthy food raw materials. And healthy food are suitable for specific groups of people. Usually in the healthy food packaging, you need to indicate the specific groups of people who can eat this healthy food. But for general food, usually there is no suitable groups of people. It means that for general food, usually all people can eat the general food. Besides the definition of healthy food and maybe some checking method for healthy food, we can see that in China, we call such product as healthy food, but in EU, we call it food supplement. In USA, we call it dietary supplement, and in Canada, we call it natural health product. In Australia, we call healthy food complementary medicines, and in South Korea, we call it health functional food. In Japan, we call it food with health claims. So, if you see a product, it is called a dietary supplement in USA, it is very likely to be a healthy food in China. Okay, sorry. Then I'd like to introduce the the classification of healthy food in China. In China, there are two categories of healthy food. The first category is nutrition supplement. For nutrition supplement, it is a food that can provide the vitamins and or minerals, but without providing energy or other active ingredients. It means that for nutrition supplement, the active ingredients are only vitamins and minerals. And the other category is called functional healthy food. That is a food can be labeled with health function claims and has physiological effects on the human body. Today we will talk about the functional healthy food, and for the nutrition supplement, maybe we have another chance to have an introduce of this one. So let's move on to overview of China healthy food registration regulations. Yes, of course, the most important law is the Food Safety Law of the People's Republic of China. Now the 2015 version is the latest version. According to this law, it is indicated that companies who plan to place functional health food in Chinese market should apply and obtain the healthy food registration certificate. Maybe we call this certificate as Blue Hat. Yes, you need to get the Blue Hat, then you can sell the functional healthy food in Chinese market. Maybe someone will think that say that some product without Blue Hat can also sell the products in Chinese market. Actually, we think it is illegal. Yes. Besides the Food Safety Law of People's Republic of China, the most important regulation for healthy food registration is the Administrative Measure on Healthy Food Registration and Filing. This regulation is made by CFDA. So CFDA is the most important government for you to apply the Blue Hat. The implemented date is July 4th, 2016. So this regulation is stipulates the general requirements, procedures, and supervision measures of healthy food registration in China. So it is very important. All other regulations is released and devised by this based on this regulation. Besides to the food safety law and the administration measures of healthy food registration and filing, there are some other regulations are also very important. One is a GB called GB 16740/2014. The national standard for healthy food. It stipulated some hygienical test items, some basic test items, and the healthy food registration review rules is also very important. Actually, after releasing this rule, the CFDA can review the dossiers. And also the healthy food registration application service guideline. It is very similar to the healthy food registration review rules, but maybe something very different. For example, the review rules usually is based on the rules that the CFDA will see it, will review the dossiers according to the rules, but the applicant can prepare the documents according to the guideline. And maybe in the future, the CFDA will update some regulations also regarding to the registration. What kind of healthy food need to apply for healthy food registration? Actually, I talked about many times for this one. Yes, of course, the functional healthy food need to do the registration with CFDA. But it is a bit different between the imported healthy food and domestic healthy food. For imported healthy food, all functional healthy foods should apply the registration. Should apply the Blue Hat. But for domestic healthy food, functional healthy foods of which the raw materials are out of the scope of healthy food raw materials directory, then they need to apply the registration. It means that if the raw materials of the domestic healthy food is in the scope of healthy food raw materials directory, then there is no need to do the registration. Maybe it is different between the imported healthy food and the domestic healthy food. So I think a lot of companies is very focusing on the applicant qualification. Registration applicant should be the owner of the product, while manufacturing of the product is the actual producer. So if the applied product is produced by the applicant, the manufacturer is the applicant. If the applied product is produced by overseas enterprises upon entrustment, the manufacturers should be entrusted enterprises. So according to this regulation, we can see that the registration applicant can be the owner of the product, and if you are not the manufacturer, it is okay. As long as you are the owner of the product, you can be the applicant. You can also entrust other manufacturers to produce your product. It is okay. Oh, here we can see the process of healthy food registration. First, you can have an overview of this process. It is a process that is composed by CRRS. Maybe it is not very completed, but it is a brief process. Then let us to see the details of each step. The step 1 is the registration feasibility analysis. First, we need to check if your product has the chance to register in China. So you need to do a feasibility analysis, which is very important. If your product is very complying with Chinese regulations, then you can move on to registration. You can prepare the dossiers and arrange the testings. But usually, for imported healthy food, you need to do some modifications. After a bit modification, then you can move on to registration. For example, sometimes you need to do some revisions on the label or on the formula, then you can move on to registration. But sometimes maybe there are a lot of ingredients that are not allowed in China. In this case, maybe you need to give up the formula or give up this product. After step 1, we can move on to step 2. We can move on to sample test and dossiers preparation. In this step, CIS will have to compose basic documents. After we composing the basic documents, we can arrange the testing in laboratories. Then the authorized laboratories will do the required test according to the basic documents composed by CRS. After the laboratory doing the tests, CRS can prepare all the required dossiers, including about test reports. So, after the dossier preparation and sample test is completed, CRS can have client submit the dossiers. According to the regulation, the applicant should submit the dossiers, but CRS as the agent can help to submit the dossiers. After we submitting the dossiers, the CFDA accepting institution will review the submitted dossiers. If all is okay, we can move on to the next step. If the supplementary documents are needed, CRS will have to go back to prepare and submit dossiers again. After CFDA accepting institutions accepting the dossiers, CFDA Review Center will organize to complete the technical review. The technical review will include safety review, health function review, production process review, and product technical requirements review. If all is okay, we can move on to the next step. If the supplementary documents are needed, CRS will also have to go back to prepare and submit dossiers. Usually in this step, as we know, CFDA Review Center will always find some documents maybe not perfect. So in this step, supplementary documents are usually needed. It's okay. We can deal with this. Then we can move on to the next step. Sometimes after CFDA Review Center reviewing the documents, they will also check if there is a need to do the on-site inspection and sample retest. Usually in this step, the on-site inspection maybe can accepted because if the manufacturer and the applicant is very good in the history, then this step maybe can be accepted. But for sample retest, usually this one is needed. CFDA usually will require to do the hygienic items for one batch sample. Yeah, it is okay, we think. So after the on-site inspection and sample retest is okay, usually you will get the registration soon. If it is unqualified, then there may be some problems, but CS will try to further confirm. Yeah, of course, finally you will get the registration approval. Besides the process of healthy food registration, I think the very important part in this webinar is the required dossiers. It is very, very complicated. There are a lot of content. We are trying to present it in brief. We can see that the first document is healthy food registration applicant form. It means that you need to provide the applicant form, including some including the product name and the applicant name and the manufacturer name. And also the letter of commitment of authorities of the materials is also needed. The second one is copies of legally registered certificate of the applicant. Yeah, of course, you need to prove that the applicant, your country is a legal company. Your company is a legal company. Sorry. And the very important one, and the new one is the product research and development report. This one is very important according to the new regulation. CFDA will pay more attention on this document. The R&D report includes quality scheme, validation date, argument report, and relevant scientific evidences about safety, health function, and quality controllability of the product. And also the product technical requirements is included in the R&D report. So there are a lot of contents in this report. Besides this one, the product formulation materials, including the active ingredients and excipients, and also the dosage, is also needed. and the production process materials, including the process flow diagram, CCP, and etc. And the safety and function assessment material, and the tests reports of functional components, characteristic ingredients, stability, hygienic, health, and others if necessary. It means that besides the components, characteristic ingredients test, and the stability test, and the hygienic health test, and also the safety and function assessment tests, maybe sometimes other tests is also needed to conduct. Beside above information, so information of packaging materials in direct contact with the product, and the samples of the product label and packaging insert, and the relevant materials shows that the general name of the product is not the same of the registered drugs. And 3 samples with minimal sales packaging is also needed. And finally, the other materials pertaining to the product registration technical evaluation is also better to provided to CFDA. For imported products, there are some additional required documents as follows. We can see that for imported products, you also need to provide the qualification certifying documents issued by government authorities or legal services in the producing country of origin, proving that the registration applicant is the overseas manufacturer of the healthy food marketed. In these centers, the overseas manufacturer actually refers to the legal and some other organization. It is not referring to the factory. Yeah. And the certifying documents issued by government authorities or legal service agencies in the producing country of origin, proving that the product has been marketed more than 1 year, is also needed. According to the regulation, safety report of overseas sales and consumers' feedback can replace the 1 year document, but actually we strongly suggest you to provide the 1 year selling document, because CFDA is CFDA more like this one. Of course, you also need to provide the health food associated standards issued by the product producing country of origin or international organizations. Also, the packaging labels, packaging insert of products marketed in the producing country of origin is also needed. In this case, you need to provide the original packaging labels and packaging insert. I mean the original, not the Chinese version. Yeah, of course. For registration affairs run by overseas manufacturers, permanent representative in China, a copy of the registration certificate of overseas enterprises permanent Chinese representative offices should be provided. But for registration affairs run by domestic agencies like CIS, entrusted by overseas manufacturers, applicant should provide the original notarized certificate of entrustment and copies of business license of the agencies entrusted. Yes, there are 3 general requirements for the submitted dozens of imported products. It's very important, these 3 general requirements. Okay, here we go. We can see that the Chinese translation of foreign proof documents and foreign label and package insert should be notarized by Chinese notary authorities, and these documents should be in accordance with the original contents. The second one is any proof documents, authorizations letter issued by overseas institution should be the original copy with the official language of the country of origin and the company's seal or legal representative's signature. The original copy should be notarized by the notary authorities and confirmed by the Chinese base in the country of origin. Finally, the authorized letter should specify a registration applicant and the name of the company who was authorized, and also product name and the commitment and issue date. Please pay attention to this content. Let's see some key points regarding to the safety of R&D report. Just like I said before, the R&D report is very important according to the new regulation, which is different to the older regulation. So we need to pay attention to this one. And in R&D report, there are a lot of content you need to focus on. First, for some usage basis of raw materials, it means that when you prove your product is safety, you need to prove some basis. I mean some evidence. General food, new food raw materials, and some proposed including into health food raw materials directory ingredients can be used as the legal basis. It means that if it is general food raw material and health food raw material and some materials in the health food raw material directory, you can use it as health food raw material. If the raw material is a kind of new health food raw material, it means that without usage basis currently, then you need to also provide some safety evaluation materials, toxicity test report, and production process quality requirements and test report of the raw material. It will be very difficult. Please note that if the material belongs to part A, I mean, if a material is general food or a new general food or healthy food raw material, but use the production process that may cause significant changes on the substantial basis, it is also classified as new healthy food raw materials. Regarding the product formula, compatibility and sausage basis, you need to pay attention to this content. If it is regarding to the product safety evaluation test, generally, if the product is manufactured by regular production processes, oral acute toxicity test, 3 turns of hereditary tox test and 28 days oral tox test should be conducted. According to the test results, to determine if the 90 days oral toxicity test will be conducted. So for the safety evaluation test, it will depend. It is depending. Yes, we can also see the health function requirements of R&D report. We can see that for function basis for main raw materials and necessity for other ingredients comparative. You need to provide that your ingredients and the formula has the function. I mean the health function you would like to apply. You need to prove that. Then you need to pay attention to the main requirements in this content, in this table. And also this one is also very important. Because if you would like to provide your formula has the function, first you need to provide some literatures that prove your formula has this function. And also you also need to do some animal test and human test to prove your product is actually have this health function. So the animal test and human test is also required. For the production process research materials, you need to provide the documents for at least 3 batches per liter. And sometimes if you can not provide the documents of lab study or pilot scan, then you need to provide 10 scan up batches. It means that you need to provide the verification report and self-inspection report at least for 10 batches. If you cannot provide the documents of lab study and pilot study. Yes, of course, you need to provide the production process materials. You need to provide the flowchart and the description. Includes the main procedures, key technical control points, and key technical parameters, and the relevant descriptions. Actually, it is very important. As we know, if you cannot provide the key technical parameters, the CFDA can reject your dossiers. So you need to provide it. The last one is the technical requirement of R&D report. This one is also very important. It is different from the older regulation. There are a lot of items you need to indicate in the technical requirement. So after this presentation, I think you need to pay attention to this one and have a detailed look at this. So I think besides the dossier requirements, the last one is the testing requirements of healthy food registration. There are 27 kinds of health function published by CFDA. Health food function must be within the health food function directory. Actually, CFDA will update the functions within the health food function directory at any time. But as we know, we are not very sure, and I think no one sure when the CFDA will update the health food function directory at directory. We can only know for the moment there are 27 kinds of health functions. And for the testing requirements, we can see that the testing scope includes functional components test, hygienic test, and stability test, and toxicology test, animals function test, and all human function test. And sometimes other tests is also necessary to conduct based on the CFDA review, maybe. We can see that for functional components test, we need to provide 3 batches of samples. It means that the same test will be carried out for 3 batches of sample. And just like we said before, for imported healthy food, if the document of lab test or pilot test is incomplete, then 10 batches are needed. So if you cannot provide the lab test or pilot test, then you need to do 10 batches of samples. And you can also see that for this test, for the functional components test, the sample requirement is the finished product. For the hygienic test and stability test, you can use the same 3 batches sample. And the sample requirement is also the finished product. For toxicology test, you can use one of the above 3 batches. It means that for toxicology test, you can only test 1 batch. You can choose 1 batch of the 3 batch. And in this case, the sample requirement will be finished product. And maybe it is non-finalized samples if needed. For example, if your product is softer capsule, then for toxicological test, you can only provide the fill, and you can and the shell is not needed because it will be convenient for the lab to test. For the animal function test, you need to use the same batch with the toxicology test, and also for the human function test, you also need to use the same batch with the toxicology test, because if the toxicology test is qualified, then you can move on to the animal test and the human test. You need to guarantee your product is safety, then we can do the function test. Yes. Because sometimes the testing requirements is different for different health functions. For example, let's see the first function, assisting blood lipid reduction. For this function, you need to do the animal function and also the human function, and also the toxicology test, and also the functional and components hygienic and stability test. But you can see that for weight control, you need also to do the stimulation test to prove that you have not added some illegal substance. Yes. And you can also, let's have an example. For the 16 health function enhancing immune, you can see that there is no need to do the human function test. It can be experimented. And for some other health function, for example, improving skin water contact, then there is no need to do the animal function test because the animal cannot do such test. Yes. So for different health functions, the testing items will be very different. And also, if the test items are different, then the testing fees will be very different. Then let's see the registration duration estimation. We can see that usually for registration test, it will cost about 8 to 16 months. It depends on the different health functions. And for dossier preparation, CIS will usually cost about 1 to 2 months. For CFDA application acceptation and technical evaluation, usually it will take about 3 months. And for on-site verification and retest, it will usually take about 4 months. For supplement documents, you can only have 3 months. And finally, CFDA usually will take about 1 month to approve and approve the registration and also issues certificate. So totally, for a healthy food registration, you will take about 2 to 3 years. Besides the registration duration, let's see the registration cost estimation. Usually, for the testing, which includes the functional component test and hygienic test and the stability test, and also the toxicology test, animal function test and human function test, and maybe sometimes other tests, you will cost about 300,000 to 615,000 RMB. Just like I said before, the testing fees depending on the health function you claimed. And for the consulting fee, which includes the registration, consulting service, and the translation and notarization, it will cost about 200,000 to 350,000 RMB. Yes, so the total fee is ranged from 500,000 to 1,000 RMB. Yeah, it is not. I think it is not cheap. Okay, it's finished. Thank you again for coming to this webinar. Finally, we will send this presentation to all of you present later by email. In addition, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact us via the email, and you can also call me. Thank you again.